Worst drinking night of your life. You wake up, your head's pounding.
Oh.
It's a hangover.
Every little thing, whether it's just a little bit of light coming through the window, make it stop. Any noise, make it stop.
Why is the room still spinning?
It's that good time you had.
Yeah, well, that good time you
15 wins
had,
is a good time.
It's a good time, but they lost their first playoff game. We're talking about the Lions hangover. We've noticed this. The NFC title game, that loss was painful, but you put one step in front of the other, and you felt like, oh, we're going to get better from this. We're on the doorstep of a championship. Mm-hmm. You win 15 games. Life's good. Last year's playoff game hit this city like a freight train. And I don't know if people are over it yet. And it's because you felt like, wow, we have some work to do, more than we realized. And I don't think it's just getting healthy, losing coordinators, losing Frank Ragnow, some Jared Goff doubt that creeps back in. We have a full-blown hangover in the city of Detroit right now.
Yeah, and even at that time, a week after the season, I said, and I still stand by it, that the loss in the NFC Championship game to me was worse and harder to get over than losing to Washington last year. It was very dramatic, and recency bias would tell you that's the one that hurts the most. But it's easier for me to get over it because, and this is not just, there's no one answer that cures everything that ailed the team in that game. But I look at Jared Goff, and do I believe that he is more of the quarterback that took them to the NFC Championship game, that played well enough to win that game, and over 2 years played as a top five, I'm not calling him a top five quarterback, played as a top five quarterback.
Got MVP consideration.
In the consideration for MVP voting last year versus a bad game.
No, but I think the fear is the thing that would cause Jared Goff to have more bad games would be the crumbling of your offensive line that is no longer top five. That coupled with the reality of nothing they do in the regular season is going to be good enough. It's all going to be, but the hangover cure is in January.
Right, but that's where this organization is right now. That's where the fan base is right now, is you expect them to be a playoff team. You expect them to win the division. Now it's a matter of we got to go through 17 games just to get back to square one, versus it felt like in the last couple of years, square one was starting a season off with Kansas City and getting a win. Then all of a sudden you generate a little bit more excitement. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. And then last year it was a little bit of a slower start because you had, the week 2 loss to Tampa. But it was a buildup all season long, and then it was a complete letdown in the playoffs. Now it's, there'll be a buildup all season long, and it's about getting to the playoffs, but everybody believes it's still a playoff team. But until you get there, until you play a playoff game, you can't put anything that happened behind you.
Right, hair of the dog. Until you get back on the wagon, until you play another playoff game. Do you guys feel this hangover, whether it's you personally or the people in your life? Like we noticed right after the season, people were quick to put their Lions gear away. And it feels like this offseason has lingered. A texter puts it well. From the embarrassment in the playoffs, a disappointing offseason where we stand pat or got worse with the Frank retirement, everyone else in the division perceived to get better, the uncertainty over next year, the hangover is not going away anytime soon.
And to that I say yes, maybe the offense isn't going to be the offense of last year, at least to start the season. There is a great mystery about what the interior offensive line is going to be, how productive they'll be, how dominant they could or will not be. But defensively, and again, it's not a blanket answer to say if Aiden Hutchinson plays more than 5 games, if he's back on the field, will this be a better defense?
Yeah, I feel like we've had this conversation before, and I feel like you have this sense that you want to, like, whether it's me or the,
I want to shake people out of it.
Hey,
yeah, like
wake up!
And I know Lee McNeil's not going to be better, not going to be back until probably Thanksgiving. Rodrigo probably won't be back until around the same time. But Derek Barnes will be there. You did draft in the first round Tyleik Williams. He is going to be a part of that. DJ Reed will be there. Levi Onwuzurike, who they re-signed, who by the numbers, maybe not by perception, but by numbers had his best year last year, and they're expecting him to be even better this year. He's going to get opportunity, but this is a team. Alex Anzalone, and I know he's going through a little contract thing right now, but he will be on this roster. He will be a part of this team this year, no matter what happens. He'll be healthy, not recovering from an arm surgery. Jack Campbell in year 3, Brian Branch in year 3, Kirby Joseph coming off a Pro Bowl, an all-pro season. Like, there are some things. DJ Reed is going to be good for this team. Terrion Arnold in year 2. Like, I keep going through all of these things, and I think, yes, this defense, even though it's not going to have Aaron Glenn, is going to be better than it was at the back half of last year.
I know. This is a damn good football team. I know it. I don't doubt that, John. Like, I know as you're trying to shake the sense into a little bit of me, I know they're a good team. My issue is, are they winning a Super Bowl without a dominant offensive line? And that's where the hangover lingers. And I'm not going to get my answer against the Kansas City Chiefs in the regular season. I'm not going to get my answer even against the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. I'm only going to get my answer in January, whether they built through Hank Fraley's hard work and young players they've drafted, whether or not it crystallizes to win the Super Bowl. Because, John, I've seen 15 regular season wins. If they go in to the playoffs, I still got to see them get over the hump. Last year's painful, and that part of the hangover lingers. Even if they add Zadarius Smith, who if people are hopping in their cars, some great quotes from him last night at the BET Awards. I want to be in Detroit. All that matters is a championship. Even if they add Zadarius Smith, I'll be happy. We'll come in and do that show. We'll go, finally got that edge for Aiden. Still need to see it in the playoffs. That's the era we've entered in for Lions football.
Right, and that's where it'll eventually be either cured or exacerbated. But
you're on a bender.
Along the way, you will play in Baltimore. You will play in Cincinnati. You will play Kansas City. You're going to play some really good teams. And when you look at those good teams, you're not going to get your playoff answer, but you'll get the picture of what this team is and will become clearer.
You could build confidence in the regular season. I certainly would rather them do that than the alternative. I want to win the division. I want to have the best record in the NFC. I'd rather have a bye. I know it didn't work out last year, but one less game you got to play in a gauntlet, a grueling NFL season. I still want as many wins as I can. I want to feel good about my team going into the playoff, but it is this bugaboo they got to get over.
Is if Zadarius is signed, whether it's now or and this is where I know you and I have both differed. Well, he's not on the roster now, so you still have this panic on the edge. Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes have both said roster acquisition, player acquisition is going to happen all the way up until training camp. And I will even caution you and say, if Zadarius Smith is not on the Detroit Lions roster at the start of training camp, doesn't mean that he won't be a part of this roster by the second or third week. It may be a situation where he says, I just don't want to sign because I don't want to go through that, especially since we're having an extra week of training camp. Maybe I just want to come in the third week of training camp. All of a sudden he arrives. There's this the red carpet is rolled out by the fans. Like it is.
Oh yeah.
It's all there. So I caution people, even though Zadarius Smith has said this, doesn't mean he's going to be signed later today.
No.
Or even in the month of June, July, or at the beginning of August.
No, but it's got to get done. Like the guy's openly begging to come back to Detroit. That comes with, hey, I'm going to have to take less money. He didn't say that part. That's the quiet part not said out loud. And for Brad, I know he has said, why would anybody ask me about edge? He makes you a better football team. As a texter puts it, he's our ibuprofen, jug of water, and a sausage egg McMuffin. He's our hangover cure, David Saginaw.
I'm a big fan of the greasy breakfast sandwich.
Is that the best hangover cure?
It is for me. It is a greasy breakfast. And especially if you don't have the energy, you don't have the want to make it yourself, head over to Mickey D's. They'll make you feel better.
It is. It's something about like their hash brown or any like greasy hash brown. You throw a piece of sausage or bacon. Ideally, you're cooking the potato in the fat from the sausage or the bacon.
Yeah. Ideally.
It's sticky, greasy, everything you need the next morning.
It's bacon.
Sure.
It's sausage.
All.
And all of the juices that are created by them, you then fry your eggs in that. And that soaks up a little bit of that flavor, a little bit of that juice, and then you throw those on top of the sausage and bacon you already have, and then you throw your potatoes in there to make sure you don't waste not, want not. You don't waste any of that beautiful juice, and then you partake of all of it. That is the perfect hangover cure.
Speaking from experience, what's the worst hangover you had?
Oh, man. There's been a couple of dandies.
You?
Yeah, well, yeah. The worst one I had was in college, thinking that we were going to have a quote unquote easy workout the following day. Me and some buddies went out, and
You're a good guy. You wouldn't go out and get hammered.
Yeah, this is an off-season workout. So we came in the next morning thinking we were going to breeze through this workout, and Mike Gettleson had different ideas. And for 2 hours, he sweated every ounce of alcohol we had out of us. By the time it was all said and done, it was miserable, but the time it was all said and done, felt great. A little tired, but felt great.
Sweat it out. Greasy breakfast sandwich. We got pickle juice on the ticket text. Drink, hydrate the night before. Hangover remedies, but more specifically, we're talking Lions football. 248-539-9797. Do you buy any of this? Go ahead.
How much better would you feel right now, still having the hangover, if by 5 o'clock today, Zadarius Smith was a Detroit Lion?
I'd feel better. I'd still be hungover. Does that make sense?
No.
No? I know you're completely over it. Last year is done. There's no real concerns for John. It's all going to be okay.
No, there's concerns.
Well, then that's part of the hangovers, the lingering feelings.
You have concerns going into every season. What was the concern last year? Defensive back. Would Terrion Arnold be any good? Or Ennis Rakestraw? They went out and invested in the secondary because it was a huge concern. This year, still a concern because Terrion Arnold needs to take steps forward. I think he's going to be better. I don't know how much better. I think Ennis Rakestraw, just being healthy, will be better.
Zadarius will help. We've talked about this. He doesn't play center. You're going to have to try to get 1 or 2 extra stops because you're not going to score on a couple extra possessions. Like, you'll feel the loss of Frank Ragnow. So you're going to need a takeaway, a turnover, a key third down sack. Zadarius, whether he gets the sack or opens up an opportunity for Aiden or someone on the interior, can help offset the loss. Yeah. I just don't know if they're winning a Super Bowl if the offensive line isn't elite, given the way this team is built. And maybe they're reimagining the team, and Zadarius can be part of that. But from what I know about Lions football and the blueprint, the offensive line is the most important thing, and that's not getting fixed if Zadarius signs. I'd like the move. I want the move to happen. It doesn't calm all of my nerves or anxiety about it.
I'm reserved in redeclaring my win-loss total because I want to see that interior offensive line in training camp. I want to see them at minicamp. I just want to see how they move, how they're acting, how they're reacting, how they're calling defenses. What type of plays are they calling for this offensive line? Some of that won't be, ironed out until we actually see them in the Hall of Fame game because we will see that young group in there. But even on Twitch, this is how I feel some are feeling about this year. All is hopeless. No point in even showing up to play this year. Like it feels like I'm getting that sense like all hope is lost because no coordinators, no interior offensive line, no edge opposite Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown coming off surgery, Frank retiring. All of these different things are worsening the hangover for our fan base.
Yeah, I think the cloud that's hanging is because of the questions that are still there. The questions are more significant for a 15-2 team than they were for a 12-5 team.
Because that team was in the NFC title, and it felt like the start of something.
These questions weren't questions last year. 2 coordinators, a center, interior defensive lineman, Lee McNeil.
We weren't questioning the quarterback.
And there is at least some people out there that are wondering. Those are 5 very big things. I think they'll survive the coordinator thing. That's probably the least of my concerns. We don't know how Ragnow's going to play out. I mean, so it's just. But at some point, you got to let last year go. Like, these are two different. They start to become 2 different things. There's more concerns and questions versus last year lingering.
But don't you understand, if they go out and win 13 or 14 games this year, we're going to be happy on those Mondays, and it's better than the alternative. But it's not going to answer the biggest questions. Mm-hmm. It's almost a frustrating place to be in as a fan. Where can you enjoy a 15-win season, knowing it's a completely different animal in the postseason? That's all that matters now.
Mm-hmm. I think one thing that happened last year. Everybody was invested.
Yeah.
Who wasn't invested?
We were all hook, line, and sinker.
Some people were, as it got late December, like, this isn't going to hold up in the playoffs. But everybody was all in. I think people are going to be guarded this year.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, probably. And some of the real hangover cures, be it Pedialyte or Gatorade before you sleep.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If it's Gatorade, I always got to cut it half with water. It's just too much.
What?
Half water, half Gatorade. Well, half and half.
Why? It's too much.
Yeah, I just need more water and a little bit of the electrolytes from the Gatorade. So that's what I do. So I'm just giving you my hangover
I have not heard that.
That's what I do for my children, John.
You split? Yes, well, I am a child.
Cut the Gatorade with water?
I cut all their juice with water.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Too much sugar.
Gatorade Zero, no sugar.
Texter says, I didn't have a hangover at all. I closed 3 deals at the Washington game. Signed Jack and Coke Jerry. Zedarius wants to be in Detroit also for his girlfriend, Cash Doll, not just football.
Oh.
Hey, whatever helps us get him.
Not familiar with her.
No hangover as I don't have high expectations this season. Losing Jansen alone will hurt the offense. I'm still mad about 2 years ago. It'll be a while before they get that close again. And someone says, y'all are crazy. San Francisco is still the one that hurts them more.
No, I agree.
I agree.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
But the hangover is more pronounced from last year. Phone calls, ticket text, 97.1.